If you want to save tens of thousands of dollars on your next points trip, this video is for you. Hi, my name is Julia from GeoBreeze Travel, and we want to provide you with a clear path to luxury travel. So, in today's video, I am sharing how exactly we save some of our one-on-one clients $30,000 to $60,000 in travel in the first 6 months of working with us, and the airlines where we find most of the deals for our clients. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So one of the airlines where we're able to book quite a few different trips for clients is with Virgin Atlantic, whether they're going to Europe or South America, or even a more advanced case in Asia like we'll go over in just a moment. If you're looking to use Virgin Atlantic, I would recommend searching on seats.aero, click on Explore Virgin Atlantic Club, and then let's say for this one you're searching from North America over to Europe, and that you wanted to go from the West Coast all the way over to London, and you wanted to go around Christmas time, which is going to be peak season. To fly in business class, it'll be about 77.5 thousand points, or with premium economy, which is not too bad of a deal, it's going to be 37.5 thousand points. And so if we look at the prices of these on Google Flights, around the week of Christmas, it should be about $1,000 per person one way in premium economy, or if you wanted to fly in business class, it would be about 3 times that, so $3,000. To search for this on Virgin Atlantic's website, you go to virginatlantic.com, search your route from LAX over to London, and then you would say one way on December 25th, and we'll just search one person for now. Click on advanced search, and then make sure you highlight points, and then you can say, do you want premium economy or upper class? Let's go ahead and search for upper class here, and it'll show you that the price is 77.5 thousand points, but the taxes and fees can be pretty high when you're going through London. If you wanted to go through premium economy instead and show flexible dates, let's look at the pricing over here. By selecting flexible dates, it'll show you the entire week of availability. And if you go into the URL and change flexible dates to say flexible calendar instead, then it'll show you here's the off-peak pricing versus peak pricing, and you can kind of pick the best day that you want to fly if you have availability to be flexible, and pick the best travel date based off of the points price. So that's kind of the base case with how to use Virgin Atlantic to find some business class or premium economy flights. Let's go over a more advanced case that one of our clients was able to book. You can actually book ANA business class or ANA first class between Japan and the United States using Virgin Atlantic, and these are the round trip prices. So this is pretty incredible because let's say that you were flying between Japan and San Francisco or Los Angeles. You could do this for 90,000 points round trip in business class or 45,000 points one way in economy. Similar with first class, you could pay 145,000 points to fly round trip, or you could pay 72.5 thousand points if you can find the first class availability one way. I think the easiest, or one of the easiest ways to find the first class availability would be on seats.aero, where there is this handy ANA first class finder. And so here, you would be searching for an RT over to, let's say, San Francisco. And you want to find something that's available on United. Let's try to find something other than Hawaii, but it looks like there's nothing available right now. If there was something available from Haneda over to Chicago or Los Angeles or San Francisco and it shows up here, then what you would want to do is go to this 1 mile at a time article, which is my go-to resource for whenever somebody tries to do this. Then I would say Control F and then search for the word call. And what you want to do is find where they've listed this phone number, 800-365-9500. You want to make sure that you see the flight availability on United first based off of what seats.aero is showing. Unfortunately, there's not a good example today where it's showing some availability on United. But you would want to search for that same flight, find it on united.com, and then call this phone number for Virgin Atlantic and confirm that the Virgin Atlantic agent can see the same flight availability through their system. You won't be able to book this online, it has to be over the phone. Once they confirm that they see the flight, then you transfer over your points to Virgin Atlantic, all types of points transfer, Chase, Amex, Citi, Capital One, Bilt, all of those will transfer over, and then you can fly ANA business class or first class for as low as 45,000 points per person each way, which is a fantastic deal because if you were to do, for example, San Francisco over to Narita, pick some date in the future, in business class with ANA, that's like a $5,000 flight per person one way. If you are doing something that's more last minute, which is oftentimes when they're going to have these different deals, the price could fluctuate a little bit here, where here it's not too much, it's still about $5,000. If you are doing this in first class, then suddenly the price is more like $14,000 per person one way. So that is a great way to make a lot out of your points and miles if you're able to snag one of these deals, which is what one of our clients did, and that's how they were able to get so much value out of their points by transferring over to Virgin Atlantic and flying ANA first class between Japan and the United States. If you want even more free content on how you can quickly find the best redemptions on the internet, we made you a free resource to help. In just a few weeks, I am hosting a completely free live webinar to walk you through how to use some different tools and techniques to find award travel sweet spots faster. That way, you can make the most out of your points without having to wait months to get a good redemption. I host one of these free live trainings every few months, and they are not recorded. So if you miss it, you miss out. Register for free at geobreezetravel.com/webinar and tell your friends about it too, because it's going to be a whole event with giveaways and other fun bonuses, in addition to the main event, which is the educational session. Our next set of tutorials covers an airline that we use to get clients first-class flights and many business class flights to Europe and Asia. The next airline that we're going to cover where we're able to get our clients a lot of value is for American Airlines, which might seem strange because Chase points and Amex points and all of those don't really transfer directly to American Airlines. Bilt is the only flexible transferable currency that will move to American Airlines, but a lot of our clients come to us with a lot of points already accrued where they're like, how do I make the most out of my Delta or United or American Airlines or Alaska miles that I already have? And sorry to tell you guys with Delta or United, but American Airlines miles usually will go a lot further than those two. Here's a couple of examples of some great flight deals that we've been able to get clients with American Airlines miles. So, similar to before, we get a lot of requests for Japan. It's probably our most requested. So if somebody wanted to go over to Haneda and they want to travel in first class instead of business, that's something that we might be able to find. For example, here on seats.aero, if you are okay taking a last minute flight, which this client was, and I know that by the time you see this, March 12th will have come and gone, but if you're okay with taking a last minute flight, let's say this one is from San Francisco over to Haneda, it would only cost 80,000 points per person one way in business class. The next step would be to search for this on American Airlines. So what you would do next is go to aa.com and make sure that that flight actually exists. You would search from San Francisco over to Haneda, and then the date that we found was on March 12th. And then we would just search on first class flights. It looks like this is the only one that's available. There's just one seat left. It's 80,000 points with $5.60 in taxes and fees. And if we were to look at the sticker price of this flight from San Francisco to Haneda, Tokyo on March 12th with Japan Airlines, it would be about $14,000 per person one way on this flight, which is once again a fantastic deal because if you are getting $14,152 of value out of 80,000 points, it's like 17.7 cents per point, which is pretty good. Additionally, we have some clients who have American Airlines miles and want to fly first class, but not to Asia. They want to go to Europe. And there are some pretty good British Airways flights that you can get with this. So for example, we have a client who's based in Washington, D.C., and they were wanting to go to Europe in May. So here, there's one first class flight available that's left, and it goes from IAD to LHR. It should be a direct flight operated by British Airways. So what we would do is once again go to American Airlines and make sure that this flight actually exists. We would click on one way, redeem miles, from IAD over to London Heathrow. And the date we found for this one was going to be on May 6th. Then we'll go ahead and click search. And then we'll filter to first class only. And there are a few different options here. So let's look for nonstop flights only. Here's one where it's at 10:45 p.m. It's 85,000 points plus $700 in taxes, which is a little bit annoying because that happens whenever you're flying in and out of London typically. But if we look at the sticker price for this flight, it's about $13,000 from IAD over to London Heathrow for that particular day, so it's still a pretty solid redemption. If we wanted to look for any other days where this is available, we can actually click calendar on American Airlines and filter to first class only, where it'll show that's the only thing that's available in May. Nothing available in June. There was this last minute thing available in April as well, but if you're okay flying business instead of first, then it opens up quite a few more days, and this is how you can see all of the different available days where there's that good saver space on American Airlines. If you don't have American Airlines miles, don't worry. Our next tutorial shows you how you can get similar flights by using transfer partners like American Express, Capital One, and other types of credit card points. And if you are in the marketplace for a new card to earn these types of points, but not sure what card to get, check out our free credit card consultation form at geobreezetravel.com/consultations. We'll send you a personalized recommendation based on your particular goals, budget, and lifestyle. Or if you already know what card you'd like to get next, and you would like to support this show when you apply for your next card, we have our affiliate links listed on geobreezetravel.com/cards. Up next, here's how we have found some great flight deals for our clients on Qantas. So for those of you who are like, well, I really want to take advantage of these great first class deals with British Airways and some of those other airlines, but I don't have American Airlines miles. Is there something else that can be done? Yes. The next airline that we're going to cover where we get our clients a lot of value is Qantas. And so this works well for people who have a lot of Amex points or Capital One points or other points that will transfer over to Qantas. So let's say that you are based in Philadelphia and you're like, if I could avoid positioning over to JFK and Newark, that would be fantastic to fly over to London. It's usually way cheaper as a cash rate if you can do that positioning flight, but with Qantas, since it's more region-based and distance-based, it's actually the same points price whether you're flying from Boston or Newark or JFK or even Philadelphia. So let's say that you're in Philadelphia, you want to take a last-minute trip over to London, and you see that there's some first-class availability. This is with Qantas. So what you would do is go to qantas.com and then search for Philadelphia over to London Heathrow on a date that you find on seats.aero. Make sure to highlight rewards, one way, one adult, flexible with dates if you need. Then go ahead and click search flights. And so here we do see that availability for about 90,000 points. Once again, it has the high taxes and fees that happen when you go to London, but it is a first class flight operated by British Airways. And when we look at the price of this ticket, it is about $13,000. And it's about that price no matter when you are flying this particular route from Philadelphia over to London. That being said, if you are paying for these usually with cash and not points, and you're like, I'm okay transferring over to JFK or Newark, it does tend to be a little bit cheaper there. Not in March for the last minute ones, but for April, if you are okay flying on one of these dates, it can be half the price where it's $5,000 one way per person in first class instead of 12 or 13. Still a lot more than most people want to pay to fly over the ocean, but that is an option as well. Are you enjoying these types of tutorial videos? If yes, please let me know. Click that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for even more points and miles tips every week. This next airline program is probably the most robust for finding different airline deals. We use this program to find client deals to Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, pretty much everywhere. Okay, the next airline that we're going to go over is Air Canada, where we get our clients a lot of different flight deals from Air Canada. And this isn't necessarily because they have great first class sweet spots like we saw with Virgin Atlantic or American Airlines or Qantas, but mostly just because of the sheer volume of deals that you can find on Air Canada. You can use them to find great deals for Europe, Asia, Africa. We've used them for the entire globe pretty much, US over to Australia, New Zealand. There's tons of different things that you can do with Air Canada. One example of a flight that we booked for a client pretty recently was they were from a small town in the Midwest, so they needed to position up to Montreal in order to get over to Europe. So if we are searching Montreal and they flew into Brussels, I think it's around July. You can see there's 4 different dates in business class here from Montreal over to Brussels, or if you're more flexible, you can pick any of these dates. Let's say that you wanted to go in July and you like this first option of July 30th. What you would do next is go to aircanada.com and then click one way, checkbox book with Aeroplan. You're going to search from Montreal over to Brussels, and then the date was July 30th, and just search one adult at a time. Go ahead and click search flights. And I think that the airline we actually booked them on was Brussels Airlines, but it doesn't look like that's an option here today. So this is a direct flight from Montreal to Brussels operated by Air Canada for less than 60,000 points, which is fantastic because that fits under the 10K rule, where for a 7-hour flight, I would be willing to pay up to 70,000 points for it. So let's look at the cash price from Montreal over to Brussels as well. If we were to plug this flight into Google Flights from Montreal to Brussels on that day of July 30th, this particular flight, which leaves at 5:15 p.m., would cost about $6,000 per person one way if booked with money. And so if you are getting $6,000 worth of value for about 58.7 thousand points, that's like 10 cents per point, which is a solid deal. So that's just one of the many ways that you can find deals on Air Canada. If you want to find a lot of other deals, we're going to link to a video that we did all about how to take advantage of Air Canada's different routing zones and how you can really maximize this program, which we do for clients all the time. Our last walkthrough covers the airline program, where we've found probably close to a quarter of client deals, and it can result in some significant savings, especially for families or large groups. And if you are interested in leveling up your points and miles game and getting more free trips and upgrades, we have a couple of options for you. The first one is the GeoBreeze Travel Patreon, which you can join starting at $5 through patreon.com/GeoBreezeTravel. Each month, we prepare personalized, step-by-step tutorials for the routes that our members request. We also provide open forum group coaching, where you can ask any questions that you have about points, miles, and credit cards in general, and we talk through some of the tricks that I'm not really supposed to mention on social media. And if you're looking to get even more free travel with points, and you are a business owner or individual who spends more than $100,000 per year on expenses, this entire video has been of case studies of the kinds of savings that we have delivered to clients just like you through our one-on-one points portfolio management service. We typically save our clients $30,000 to $60,000 in travel in the first 6 to 12 months of working with our team. If that sounds like something that you would be interested in, book a free intro chat with us at geobreezetravel.com/intro call to learn more. Okay, let's talk about how to find some amazing deals with Air France. And the airline program where we find so many different airline deals for clients is the Air France KLM Flying Blue program. We have quite a few clients who are in the Atlanta area, and so whenever we are trying to find flights from Atlanta over to Paris or Amsterdam, I usually start with seats.aero, and here there's only one left, but if we ever find these 50,000 point super saver flight deals, this is a really, really good deal, especially for somebody who's flying out of an airport like Atlanta, where there's not necessarily as many deals coming out of there versus New York or Washington, D.C. or something else like that. But here's the kind of deal that you can find with Air France. So let's say that we wanted to do this flight on March 30th, for example. We would go to airfrance.us, click on the Book with Miles tab, search one way from Atlanta to Paris, and then it would be for one adult in business class. And then here we would see that it is 50,000 points. There's only one date available with that super saver space. Sometimes more will show up, but whenever they do, we try to remind our clients about them ASAP whenever we see them, because you can get some really good value out of your points this way. So for example, our clients who are able to book business class from Atlanta into Paris, this would normally be a $7,000 flight with Air France. And if you take $6,918 divided by 50,000 points per person in business class, that's about 14 cents per point, which is a fantastic deal. Like you can see, they're pretty hard to find, so it's nice having somebody in your corner to just remind you whenever they see these types of flight deals so that you can jump on them ASAP. Since not everybody is always available during those different flight deals, it is possible to fly premium economy as well with Air France. And we booked this for a couple different families out of Atlanta as well, and it's a pretty good deal as well. So for example, this would only be 35,000 points. There are 7 seats left in premium economy versus just 1 seat in business class. And then on Air France, we would be able to check if that exists here as well, where if instead of business class we said premium economy, then it's only 35,000 points per person. And if we look at the premium economy price on Google Flights and filter this down to Air France, this is about a $3,800 flight. So $3,800 divided by 35,000 points is a 10.85 cent per point redemption, which is solid as well. I know a lot of people think that premium economy is where redemptions go to die, but with Air France, you can actually get a ton of value even when just booking premium economy from different airports like Atlanta. We've booked people from Montreal. We've booked people from JFK, LAX, for premium economy, especially large families where they're like, we just need all of us to be on the same flight and we don't need business class, but we would like to get a lot of value out of our points. Air France is probably one of the best airlines for families, especially because if you have kids between 2 and 11, they get 25% off of the points price with the Air France child discount as well. I hope you found those tutorials useful. Suggestions for future topics are always welcome. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, I think you will enjoy this video next.